almost hit start streaming. That would be so funny.
Oh my God. I am always scared of doing that. I think I accidentally did it once. I accidentally hit start stream. I was like, oh, and stream, nothing, like no notifications went out on Twitch. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh my God, my old age, and I can't even remember how to do an intro. Oh my God. Yeah, actually, this just might be the intro here. Hi, everybody. Welcome on in to me reacting to some trans memes that you can already, you oh my God, you can see that I'm already not like having a great time. Talking. I swear to God, this is what's like every single time. I just like, I can't speak. I can't chat. I can't speak. Anyways, I got a friend with me here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Grouchh. I'm a variety game streamer on Twitch.
Do you wanna plug in your handle there?
Plug? No. Secret.
Wow.
No, you'd never.
My friend doesn't want to plug themselves at twitch.tv/itsgrouch with 2 H's.
Hang on. Let me go again. Let me do it again. I'll do the whole thing. I'll do the raid thing.
Okay, go for it.
Hello, I'm Grouchh. I'm a variety game streamer over on Twitch at twitch.tv/itsgrouch with 2 H's and play a little bit of everything. But today I'm reacting to memes with my friend Kat.
Better.
She said better.
I'm literally over here like bullying my friends. Like, are you gonna plug yourself? You can plug yourself. It's okay to plug yourself. And because Mercy was just like, but I don't want to do that on your video. I'm like, it's fine.
Fair enough.
So maybe I want to share my friends with my lovely like community and my like viewers.
No, that's you're so right for that.
Oh my God, I'm eating apples in the middle of all this as well. So I'm like trying to not eat on mic.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're like eating, because I have my collection of like ADHD beverages, as I always do, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should be like not drinking these while I'm recording.
No, you're good. How many do you have? Do you have like 3, 4?
Three. I have a Coke Zero, not sponsored because caffeine. I have a Spindrift Lime because delicious flavor, and then I have a water because Spira's a bitch.
Oh my God, you really are gay. You have the caffeinated drink, the fun drink, and water.
Yeah. No, it's the listen. Stereotypes are real for a reason.
Okay. All right, you want to start with some memes?
Absolutely.
My name is Erica. You used my dead name. Prepare to die.
I'm clapping, but you can't hear it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that terrible impression that I just did. No, but seriously, this is how it feels whenever I have family who dead name me. It's just like, I just want to pull out my wife's rapier and be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. No, I had so much. It doesn't happen to me as much with names because of the similarities for me, like between my like chosen name and my dead name, but pronouns, same way, like all the time.
Oh my God, pronouns definitely, yeah. Jesus.
It's like a speed run at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just have, like whenever I was first coming out, and I had a lot of people who were dead naming me because they were still adjusting to the new name. It was mostly like my grandparents, but there was one aunt who, oh my God, I would throw hands with her any day, but I know that it's better that I don't because, so I just keep her blocked on everything and call it good. But yeah, if I ever hear my dead name coming out of her, that's it. I swear to God, that's it. It's on site.
Sword out. It's time for duel.
I know. Okay. I know one of my family members is subscribed to this channel. I don't know if he still watches my stuff, but hey, if you're watching this video, you know which aunt I'm talking about. And I know you would do the same.
Amazing.
Well, this because this channel used to be my VOD channel, and so like he would like he subscribed to this so he could watch all my VODs from Twitch.
Sure.
Then I changed it to this, and I don't know if he's still subscribed or not, but hey, in case if you are, yeah, it's on site if I ever hear her dead name me. Do not. I don't have to tell you not to show this to her because I know you won't. I love that guy.
Amazing. I hate that I have to take daily medication, but I know how I am without my medication, and I hate that more.
Honestly, real.
Yeah.
If I did not have my testosterone blockers, Jesus Christ. I know somebody who has done that, and they have talked about how awful it is because you go through menopause as like MTF. If you detransition, you go through basically the same symptoms of menopause. But she was just like, I will never do that again, and I will never detransition because I was so miserable during that time. I can only imagine it's like probably about the same going from FTM, that you're just like it's definitely the same, right? Because like at the end you're just gonna be miserable the entire time. I don't know like about the side effects of everything, but like
I imagine there's like a lot of like fatigue involved. Just like, I don't know,
Ooh.
like, it's not my experience. Hearing like all of the, because you hear like commercials and stuff about the targeted like middle-aged men because, you know, cable TV, and you're like, oh, well, so probably all those symptoms of decreased energy, general feeling of malaise, I guess. So presumably equally miserable though.
Okay. Yeah, equally miserable.
Honestly, like this one hits me as a double because I have ADHD, and it's, for me, it's severe enough that I struggled for most of all of my childhood and the start of my adult life with no medication. And when I say struggle, it was awful. And in the last year, it's been a challenge to find a medication that works, to find a dosage that works, that I can afford, that to get on a schedule that's consistent, because without it, I fall apart. I feel less like myself. And I know that this is not for everyone, because some people, I know plenty of people that say, oh yeah, I was on medication for this thing or that thing, but like I didn't like how I felt on it because I felt less like myself. And I have taken medication like that for sure. But for the ones that I continue, which would be my HRT and my ADHD medication, I am not me when I have not taken them. And I hate it. I hate that my stability comes in an orange bottle, but I hate what I am without it so much more.
And that's completely fair. I was gonna say, I was just kind of over here thinking about the fact because like my wife, she's on anxiety meds. And at the time of the recording, I had to go and drive out to pick my wife up from Boston. Then we had to drive all the way to Hartford, Connecticut, and then we had to drive back home. So it ended up being 5 hours on the road. She missed out on one dose of anxiety meds, and it was just kind of like, she was just out of it for the entire day. So, yep.
Yeah. One missed dose is all it takes for some of these things.
At the mall. Hello, ladies. You just got a compliment. Huh? You said, hello, ladies. This is one of the best feelings that could ever happen. I remember, shout out to the Home Depot employee who, whenever my wife and I were going to get stuff, she asked us a question and we, answered. And she looked us up and down and said, have a good one, ladies. And I was just like, she said, ladies. I was just like, I was also boy moding at the time too. And I was just like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Isn't that the way though? You always get it when you're not trying. You have those interactions on the days that you put like no effort in. I'm over here, maybe I shaved yesterday and didn't put on any makeup and I'm wearing my hair however, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for stopping by, or anything we can get for you, or whatever the interaction is. And you're like, oh my gosh, thanks. And then on the days you feel amazing, you put it all together, you have perfect outfit on, your eyeliner looks right, and you feel like you can conquer the world, and you just run into some it's just like, have a nice day, sir. And you're like,
fuck you. You know what? Actually, I got gendered correctly without even trying. Honestly, that's the best feeling. Anytime I get gendered correctly and I'm not even trying, I'm just like, oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's working. It's real.
I feel the sunshine on my face and I feel so good. Oh.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like, because I live in the South.
Oh, yeah.
For all of the things that come and go with that, pros and cons. But when people are nice, especially in hospitality settings, restaurants or customer service settings, there's a stark difference between two things. One, there's nothing like very Southern waitress coming up to your table and be like, oh, what can I get for y'all today? What can I get for you ladies today, or whatever? And it's just like, I'm included. But also, if I'm at the hardware store, it's so funny. I'll get those sort of middle-aged and older gentlemen who work at the store with the vests or whatever, and they're like, oh ma'am, can I help you find anything? Is there anything that, like, can I answer any questions? They're very attentive. And it's just, I'm taken, but thanks for the attention. I know it's not a guarantee, like that's automatically the mindset, but it's like, oh, that's so much, like, that's so nice. Thank you for recognizing that, I might in fact struggle in such a place. I don't, because I'm intimately familiar with the hardware store, being your stereotypical DIY lesbian grin. But it's nice for them to, it sounds silly, but it's there's a term for it. Inclusive misogyny, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Or like euphoria, where it's just
euphoria, yeah, or something like that. Yeah, you're like, but also
euphoria. It's just like, I was gendered correctly, but, oh God, in a misogynistic way.
But But at what cost?
I got called Gabe.
Well, people call me that affectionately, I hope. So, you know, I'm used to that one.
Yeah, I call you that affectionately for sure. I'm not gonna lie.
That's true. That's true. You among many. These damn trans people are threats to society. They're deranged and dangerous.
The dangerous threats to society in question. Can you help me inject my hormones? Needles make me cry. I know that look. You gonna tell me what's wrong?
It's nothing important. I was looking at some of the anti-woke movement stuff online right now.
Well, doom scrolling for hours won't solve anything. Wanna talk about it?
Yeah, that sounds nice. See, recently there's been a lot of people online complaining about wokeness in video games. Anything related to feminism, LGBT, or progressive ideas gets slammed, especially transgender stuff. It feels like there are more pressing issues in the world right now, you know? Even just in the games industry, a lot of things are more important than culture war debates. Besides that, it seems like all of this anti-LGBT sentiment has been stacking up recently. It makes me worried that we'll be in actual danger just being ourselves.
I know it's scary, but you have to remember that this is just a loud minority of people. Most don't actually care about these things that much.
Yeah, you're right. It's just hard to remind myself sometimes.
Oh my god. I feel so bad for all of my fellow trans people who are scared of needles and you do injections. That is tough. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like this is, oh my god, the state of everything within this world is so real. I will say that it seems like things are getting slightly better, especially, okay, things are getting bad here in the United States, but they're also getting kind of better at the same time. It's just there's so many negative things that are happening all at once that there have been a few positive things that have come through, like the passport ban. Well, it wasn't a ban. The passport gender marker whole debacle has been blocked by the courts. There has been a lot of the anti-trans laws, especially Medicare, have been held up and are currently going through the court systems. And it's just, hi, editing cat here. And while I was out looking for some news clips to grab to bring up about the whole Medicaid bans on HRT and gender affirming care for trans people being upheld by the lower courts, I forgot that the Scrimeti decision was made, and because of that, the Supreme Court has pushed back the lower court's decision to block West Virginia and North Carolina from banning gender affirming care for trans people on Medicaid. I know that is extremely scary, but I want you all to know that everything is not hopeless. There are a lot of people who are still fighting, and there are a lot of people who are still working extremely hard to make sure that we keep our rights, and they have been doing an amazing job. So keep your head up. I always emphasize to stick with your community, and this is an important time to do so. So keep your head up, find your community, and we will all get through this together, okay? All right, now back with the meme. One thing at a time, we are slowly clawing our ways out, and I think overall there has been coming more and more of a general acceptance of the trans community, and it's just a very, very vocal minority of people who are spreading all this hate. I mean, unfortunately, some of them are politicians, but look.
Sure. I don't know. I am a firm believer in the sort of the principle of the death rows, if that makes sense. Like last ditch attempt to like, there's in the last even like 5 years, there's been such like a ramp up of hate and intolerance at the same time as in the minority, at the same time as like the rest of the world just being like, can we move on? And just sort of like becoming accepting. And it just feels very much like sort of like that last temper tantrum before everybody just gets on board and we move on always comes with progressive movement, you know?
Yeah, any kind of social movement that happens, because like I've said it a few times, but it's time and time again that shit like this happens. This happened during the civil rights movement. This happened during the AIDS crisis. This has happened with other minority communities and groups. Of just the amount of when we get to the point where a minority group is finally getting recognition and equality, or well, as close to equality as I could potentially get, the party who has benefited most from society feels like it's an attack because they feel like they're losing power. In all reality, it ends up just being this thing of just as time goes on and they're starting to realize that their rights are not actually threatened and their freedoms are not going to be threatened, and actually they're given more freedoms and more liberties to be able to express themselves, they end up start changing. And another one I pointed to in the past, and I'll point to this again, is whenever there was a huge wave of homophobia happening, I think in the 70s, from one of the Miss Americas. She was basically the equivalent of J.K. Rowling today, but for gay men specifically. And it wasn't even a few few years, this went on for a little bit of time, but even then, people started realizing it was just hatred and it was just lies that she was spreading to spread fear about gay men. And society shamed her and basically was just like, what the frick are you talking about? The frick are you talking about? And I know, we're all kind of like, I'm sitting here just like, okay, all right. When are we shaming J.K. Rowling? Can we please get to that point? Because yes, I know it's going to happen at some point, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, getting there is going to be kind of rough.
Sure. I mean, not to interrupt, but we're already seeing that. There are, and this is something that like I'm desperately trying to remind myself and learn to sort of take in perspective, because it's really easy, especially in the spaces that are really just for us, like on Reddit or on even to some extent in the VTubing community or online content creation communities. We do create like that, not to minimize what's going on. There's a lot of harmful and negative stuff going on, but also real life is still happening out there. The vast majority of people don't subscribe to the terrible mindset that has created this atmosphere. And the point of bringing it to light and talking about it is for those people to understand that not doing anything is not enough. Not agreeing with those people is not enough, but we have to establish some kind of pushback. But for your day-to-day life, the vast majority of people think that J.K. Rowling is just an overblown asshole who has a complex about something else in her life, and she's just taking it out on trans people. The same way that she might take it out on any other, it's just we're the group that she latched onto.
I mean, she's kind of targeted the asexual community a little bit.
Sure, yeah. But there's a world out there outside of, like, there's a place for healthy fear, and there's also a place for not letting your fear get in the way of you living your life. Because at the end of the day, if the fear prevents you from living your life, then the people putting you in a place of fear are winning.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's just trying to overwhelm people as much as they can so they can push as much hate as they possibly can, because they know this is probably going to be the only chance and the final chance that they can do that.
Exactly.
So the more that they can overload us with to cause fear and panic and any kind of harm to the community, they're going to go for it.
Exactly. And I will tell you, even going back to I'm gonna force you to edit these chronologically now. Previous meme, the number of scenarios where I have a positive interaction in public with somebody far outweigh the negative ones. And so I don't know where I'm going with this. I lost my train of thought, but it's something that I struggle with, something I'm still learning. There is a time to unplug from the social media, because when you're connected to social media, you have a direct feed to people like J.K. Rowling or the people immediately responding to her content or reposting her content or criticizing her content and all of the comments, because there's sort of almost morbid fascination, like, oh, J.K. Rowling said something awful. Let me click on it and look at all the comments and see how many people agree versus disagree. And I just end up hurting my own feelings. The choice was not to open and look and compare. It's an echo chamber. Close Twitter, go outside.
Touch grass
And close Twitter, call your best friend and talk about something else. Go downstairs, make a snack.
Go eat some grass.
Go read a book. Go live your life, because the whole point of learning to accept yourself as a trans person is not about overcoming this massive obstacle. It's just about getting on with the rest of your life. So yeah. Rant over. But in regards to this meme, because we've slant addressed this meme, I'm hit and miss on the needles, because I take mine with needles. And when I started, I was like, oh, this is awful and I hate it. And I had to get real comfortable with it. I've been using the needles now for a year and a half, I think. So weekly. At this point, the needles and I are we're closely acquainted, but there are definitely some days where I'm just mad. In an equal world, you'd have something like an insulin pump that did the same thing, that just measured the levels, that ran it on a schedule, that did all of the stuff for you so that I don't have to periodically go in for a blood test, that I don't have to every week sit down and do a dosage of this. That's when I don't have to think about it. When I'm not reminded of it, that's when we've reached the final goal.
Oh my God, I remember watching this on TikTok. LGBTQ climbers hang a large transgender. That's what the fucking captions.
I want to be transgender. I wish I had red hair.
Oh my God. LGBTQ climbers hang a large trans pride flag in the middle of Yosemite El Capitan. I had heard about this. It's the highest point that a flag has ever been raised here in the United States, I think. No, I know.
I think it's also the largest, at least, transgender pride flag, because that thing is huge. You can see it from the ground and it is high up.
I was gonna say, because I know it was Patagonia and a few other creators who put it up there, and I was
yes, same.
Oh my God, I love them more.
Speaking of things I saw scrolling on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, it's funny because a previous, oh, stop scrolling on TikTok. But also when you scroll on TikTok, sometimes you see something heartwarming.
I mean, sometimes you see good news. It's one of the things like sometimes you have to curate your feed to have the positive stuff in there. And I just want to say it's okay to scroll past some of the negative stuff. You need to keep your own mental health in check and make sure that you are not going to just burn out. And sometimes just scrolling past all of the sad stuff is okay. Yes, I understand that's still doom scrolling, but if you need a dopamine dump, and then hey, the trans flag is flying high and Yosemite's El Capitan.
And pro tip on the algorithms, hate watching or doom watching something will train your algorithm to serve that up to you more. So scroll past it.
Which I have a message for all of my haters out there. Keep hate watching me. Thank you so much for all the money and the views that you give me. Keep hate watching me. I will hide all of your comments, but thank you so much for the views and making sure that this video can actually reach people who need it. Bye-bye. Literally, that's what happened my first few videos. It's just people were hate watching it. And I was just, okay. Because then it was be like 1 or 2 hate comments and then like 30 positive comments. It's like, oh, wow. Actually, you know what? I don't care if this has like a 50-50 like ratio. The fact that this is reaching people who need to hear this message, amazing. And then I'm reminded of that comment of somebody who's being like, ugh, this video is awful from a know-nothing content creator. Me now.
Nah. How dare you have an opinion?
And, well, how dare I make funny meme videos?
I know. The internet is making my kid gay/trans. No, the internet is giving your kid the support and comfortable environment that you won't. That's supposed to be your job.
Facts.
I'm snapping.
100% facts, because it's the whole left-handed argument issue. Well, we're more gay and trans kids coming around because of all this. It's like, yeah, it's gonna plateau at some point. It's going to plateau. The other thing too is this also kind of aligns with the whole, well, if I ever have a gay or trans kid, I'm disowning them. Then don't have kids. You're not being a parent. You don't want the best for your kid. You want to control your kid, and you want to put your life onto them and not let them live their own lives. You want to live your life through them, basically.
Yes. If your love for your child will be conditional on how they turn out, then you don't want to be a parent. You want to achieve something through someone else. Better for you to focus on you making the achievements you're proud of rather than forcing that onto someone. Just because you progenited someone does not give you the right to govern how they live their life.
I would agree.
Whenever I see stuff like this, I'm always like, don't make me tap the sign. And the sign is left-handed, rate of left-handedness over time. It's like, yeah, when you stop beating people for being left-handed, it turns out more people are left-handed when you ask them.
Yeah, and then it's just 10% of the population, and that's where it stops. That's where it stays.
And that's where it stops. Yeah, that's the normal incidence of the phenomena.
Oh, I cast turn gay.
Counterspell. I'm only into women.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, but I'm still into women. Real though.
I guess the spell did kind of work in some ways.
It's the genie wish. It worked out. Not how you thought, but it worked out.
Mm-hmm. Also, just the wizard battle is just absolutely amazing. I don't know. Also, just yeah, no, okay. I guess I am gay now. All right.
Yeah, honestly though, like I do relate to this very much. I've talked to people about this, and I don't know if there's anything to it. But you know, being sort of like raised around men, and most of my companions being men up until my early adulthood, the way that the men in my circles talked about being attracted to women never resonated with me. I never felt I was attracted to women the way that men were, and it always felt like it feels gay. But I'm into women. Anyway, surprise.
I feel that. I don't know, maybe it's just maybe I was always accused of being gay for various things, and it ended up getting me ostracized from a lot of male spaces.
Oh, same. All the time.
But like, even when I remember about, like you were saying, other guys talking about girls and how they were attracted to them, I kind of was just, I mean, Sure, I guess. I honestly just do not like her for her personality or any of her music taste, because I'm reminded of high school after prom one year. We were talking about, I was driving and it was a car full of guys, and someone asked a question, who do you think's like the hottest person in our school? And they all agreed on this one person who was conventionally attractive. And I agreed. I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of get it. No, honestly, I think it's like this other person. And they all are like, why? And I was just like, well, I mean, she's got great taste in music. Her like sense of style is absolutely amazing. I love the makeup. I love her fits and everything. And I'm just like, yeah. And they were just like, huh, okay, I guess that's valid. I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's not the response I would have expected. I would have expected sort of like, gay.
Nah, like that car was like all of the nerdier guys who were like also kind of ostracized. So
Sure.
if I had said that to, I think anybody else from my class would have been called out for being gay.
I don't know. It's just like sometimes like I hear the way that like men talk about just women in general, but especially like the way that they're attracted. I'm like, do you not like women?
My God, I never understood that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing like, to some extent. Yes, like physically, yeah, physical attraction is great. I'm gonna do the meme. Like physical attraction is great, but like, have you ever talked to somebody that you really connected with and who makes you happy and feel complete and whole as a person? Because like that's real attraction. Just saying.
Want a copy of the receipt, sir?
Ma'am.
Welcome, mister.
Miss.
Need anything else, bro?
Sis.
Could be a bit more polite, could you? Try and be a little more understanding.
Never seen you ask that from other folks. Yeah, it's a... I have a lot. I don't know. I have a conflicting pile of thoughts on this.
Yeah, I know that I had some thoughts about this earlier. Just, it's one of the things of, and I know I've talked about this a little bit on the stream, but it's kind of this whole concept of permission structure of when you allow for one thing to happen, you just kind of let it snowball into then permitting the next things to happen. And if there's not a point where you don't stand up and speak up about something, then the only thing that's going to ever be said or noticed is going to be the thing that's either hurtful or not
representative.
Yeah, not representative. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I have like a conflicting pile of feelings about this, right? Because on the one hand, I'm like, you have every right. And in fact, some might argue even that you owe it to yourself, to your own self-integrity, to stand up for yourself when somebody treats you differently, either differently from how they treat other people or different from how you should be treated, basic human respect. But I temper that with people respond better. Even people who start out in a negative space do respond better. On the whole, I'm coming to the asterisk, respond better to a more positive correction. But there is a limit there, right? Because there's a difference between a mistake versus somebody just going out of their way to be unkind. If it's somebody that you've corrected in the past and they continue to do it, you do not owe them not hurting their feelings. I am at this point with several family members. There's not a complete sentence. There is a dead-eyed stare and the correct word inserted, and then just silence until it's either corrected or ignored. And ignoring usually results in cutting that interaction short. But for the average stranger, some days I don't put in a lot of effort. Some days, maybe you can't tell. Maybe you've had a shit day. Maybe you're not even making eye contact with me. It's 8 p.m. at the coffee shop. You opened today and you've just done a double and you just want to leave and you're not even making eye contact with me at this point. And all you hear is my voice. Maybe you get it wrong. It is not outside of my capacity to be the bigger person there, because that doesn't detract from me. That doesn't make me less standing up for myself or make me less of a person if I can be magnanimous in that moment. If I can be the bigger person and be kind in my correction, forceful, firm, kind in the correction, before I go down the rabbit hole of, being terse or being dismissive, because there is an element of escalation. If I can have that person's interaction with a trans person today be a positive one, I might help that person feel differently, because they might not know a lot about or a lot of trans people. And maybe all they know is what they've heard on the news or on social media. And if I can fix some of that perception by being a better person than they expect me to be, I consider that to be a win. And I consider that to be consistent with who I consider myself to be, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
But it's complicated, right? Because there's nuance to it.
Yeah, there is. I will also say, like, and this is kind of, I've had to talk about this a little bit on stream as well, not in the trans space, but like when it comes to being an ally for like other communities, like being somebody who I think that 100%, I think she's in the right here to constantly correcting people. And she's also not at all being rude.
Yes, agreed.
It's definitely ma'am, miss, sis, but the other person is being more upset with the fact that she's correcting all of these people.
Yeah.
And once I probably obviously be a little bit more polite about it, but at the same time, it's kind of just like, you don't get to dictate when somebody from a minority group speaks up and calls something out, like calls out an issue that is going on, or calls out like a correction on something, or correct somebody about that. Like, if you are an ally, one, your allyship isn't going to be comfortable, nor is it going to be easy. And secondly, you have to recognize that when somebody from said group says something, it's not always an attack on whoever they're correcting or whoever they're talking to, or maybe like educating or making a stance about whatever the infraction may be. So it's one of those things that kind of just like, I agree. Like, if I was, the trans person in these scenarios, I would be kind of like, hey, why are you so pissed with me whenever it's like I'm not the one who's in the wrong?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And I think that's what, like, definitely what you were saying. It's like, that's where the nuance comes in of just like, it's one of the things of like, I'm not being antagonistic, but at the same time, I need to make sure that like I set a boundary and I set my foot down on things, because if I don't, then it's just going to get crossed and it's going to get stamped over and it's going to be ignored. And again, it's just like, you got to take the seat back. You got to take the seat back. And honestly, you should be in more support of who your partner is or your friend is or whoever they may be in relation to you whenever it comes to people being misgendered. Oh, speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You've been seeing a lot of this recently.
Society. Be you. Also society. Not like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is one that's taken some pretty aggressive foothold like we talked about, as there's been such a like uptick in specifically anti-trans ideology versus anti-LGBTQ, which is in some ways a step forward, right? But it's still a step back, right? Because being lesbian, gay, or bi has reached a point of acceptance where some of those people are now afraid that by continuing to ally themselves with us under one umbrella, they are running the risk of losing that level of acceptance by seeing, because we stand together, there's fear that their rights will be conflated with our rights and we will all of those lose them together. But that is not actually what we see what happens. That's not how it happens. It goes one of two ways. Either the smallest group loses their rights first and the erosion continues, or we all stand together and no one loses.
No, but that's the other thing too. It's just like, I don't even think it was, oh my God, I know this for a fact. It has only been 10 years since gay marriage was fully legalized here in the United States. It has only been a decade. And even before that, like, let's not forget that all throughout 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, which were not that long ago, homophobia was rampant in like media. And like there was transphobia as well. I'm not like discrediting that. I'm not ignoring that. But I'm saying like homophobia was widely popular and used as like a joke in a lot of sitcoms and movies and videos. And it became more accepted throughout 2000s and into the 2010s. And the amount that the gay community collectively has had to struggle to be able to get that acceptance is now like all of that hatred has been targeting onto the trans community. And it's just the same playbook. It's the same playbook, but it has been for the past 40, well, not even 40, like way longer, for like the past 2 centuries of, pretty much since the United States has been around. Let's just as old as time. The playbook is as old as time.
Sure. Yeah.
Of like, hate this group, make them out to be like why all these problems are happening in society. It's just so we can get into power to then enrich ourselves and not actually care about the things that we campaigned on. For you all to then realize that the minority group that we victimized was not at all the issue. So we're now going to switch over to the next minority group because now they're the problem. And it's the same thing. over and over again.
Yeah.
I will say it has less of an impact now thanks to social media. And again, that's not to discredit the fact that it has gotten worse because of social media.
Sure. I mean, it's like one of my, there was a comedian that I really liked in high school. Whose content I don't watch much, but one of my favorite things he ever said was, the worst thing about Twitter is everyone can have a Twitter, but it's also one of the best things, right? Like, all of our voices are equal, but in a lot of those spaces, they are not fully equal. There are some voices more equal than others because of the algorithms, because of how content is pushed, because of how personal and systematic algorithms work. We're not there yet. Not everyone is able to be heard equally. That's not to say that every idea is worth equal merit, but because that's a separate issue.
Oh God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But your right to be heard is still, like, that's still something that we should protect. We should celebrate.
Agreed. I swear not all of these are political. I swear not all of these are political. Okay, here we go. I think this was not political if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're good. I swear these are not all political. All right, go for it.
I love this thing. I don't know why people hate it so much. I'm gonna go watch some videos about it. Why do I find these videos so relatable? Holy shit, I might be trans.
I feel like this is when somebody stumbles upon my video for the first time and they're just like,
yeah,
why does this purple fox make me feel like I might actually feel okay being, oh God, I have so many things to watch about. It's you, isn't it?
Yeah. Hello, yes, I'd like to report an image. I'm tagged in it and I don't like it.
Yes, hello, I would like to report a murder. It is me who has been murdered by this chaotic little gremlin.
Yeah, but also raise your hand if that's how you found out. Because, like, I know for me, I mean, I've always known that there was something different. I've always felt differently, but just because of the background in which I was raised, I didn't have the words for that. I didn't know anything about it. I thought I was just weird and kind of ashamed of that. And then access to multiple viewpoints through the internet, through, you know, growing my like social circles, and just as I got older, I discovered that it's not weird. It's normal. And it has a name, and it has, you know, treatment and acceptance, and that sort of like changed a lot for me. Now it took, you know, another 15 years to like reach the point where I could live that way because of other things, but there was definitely a moment where I was like, oh, that's what it's called. Oh, that's me. Yeah. Okay.
I'm never gonna forget the coming out story by Philosophy Tube. That's what finally made me go, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I am trans. I relate to everything that she has said in this video. I'm just like had mini crisis on the inside.
And it's crazy, but like I have had experiences where I've had people come to me later on and been like, it was finding your stream or like talking to you that I was like, I learned that it was okay to accept that part of myself, or that it helped me realize that thing about myself. And that makes me happy. I'm glad that I'm able to help you see that about yourself. And I'm glad that you're able to find greater acceptance of yourself just by being myself. Because let's be honest, I'm just doing my thing over here.
So real. I've had that before. Like I had one of my friends, they came out to me and they're just like, honestly, when you came out as being trans, I thought about my own gender for a little bit, because I was maybe like, well, I don't know. If Kat came out as being like, she's not a man, she's clearly a woman. I've never felt like I was a woman. And they were just like, so yeah, here I am being non-binary. I was like, you know what? I love that for you. I also have a friend, whenever I came out to him, he was just like, you're like the third friend of mine who's came out to be trans. Now I gotta go have another identity crisis really quick. And then he came, I was like, nope, still it's this guy.
There you go. But good for them, because like it's okay to question things and like to ask yourself, like, is this actually how I feel, or is it just how I've been told to feel and I've never like double checked that? Like I've never checked in with myself on that. Like it's okay to like double check in and be like, nope, I know I'm like genuinely like, nope, still cis. It's okay to check in with yourself and be like, is this right for me? And it's okay for that answer to be yes. It's okay to just be like, yep, nope, we're all good here. The thing that broke it for me was like, and I've told the story before, I went to a new primary care physician because I like had changed doctors. I've been going to the same doctor since I was like a little kid. And it was like, the schedule didn't work for me. The patient is just nothing. And I was like, let me find somebody. And there's an element of like, you know, when they've known you since you were 4, they like don't take you seriously, which is a problem when it's your doctor. And so let me talk to somebody who didn't know basically every illness I've ever had since I moved into town. During the intake conversation with that new provider, like one of his diagnostic questions just took me like a freight train. Oh, you identify as a man. Do you still feel that you identify as a man? And at the time I was just like, yep, because I knew that was the correct answer. And then it sat with me so poorly for months and months and months and months. And that's what kind of was the beginning of the end, I guess, like the sort of cracking of the egg. Because I was like, no, I don't. And I've never felt that way. And nobody has asked me, nobody has spoken to me in such a way that made it sound like it was totally fine and normal. Again, because of like my background and my upbringing and the circles that I ran in, nobody has ever spoken to me about that concept in a way that made it sound like it was fine or normal. And I went back to him 6 months later and I was like, you asked me this 6 months ago when I did my intake, and I lied to you because I don't feel that way and I haven't felt that way my whole life. And he was like, okay, then we can do something about that. That's okay. And it was a healthy conversation that started a lot of healing.
Step 1, wake up. Step 2, look at yourself in the mirror. Wait, a girl? So it finally happened. I am free. Whenever you get to that moment in HRT, it's like when it finally feels like everything came together and you're just like, oh my God, I am a woman. Or I guess in the case of like trans men, like I am a man. And it just feels so satisfying to just finally recognize even like yourself as the gender that you would prefer to be as.
Yeah. No, that's something that like I think doesn't get talked about a lot when it comes to dysphoria, is like the dissociation. I don't know if that's the correct word. The dissociation that goes with it is mind-numbing to some extent. I always dreamed in first person, and after starting HRT and like finally reaching that point, I like affectionately refer to it as like seeing her, catching a glimpse of her in the mirror, myself, and recognizing myself. I had like my first dream in third person where I saw myself and I was me, and I like that was a huge moment for me in my own head, see myself the way that I am in my head. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I know whenever I was younger, I always had dreams of like this girl, and I could never like really place, for the longest time, I couldn't place where she was because I was just like, oh yeah, you know, maybe that's just, you know, the whole fate of like, oh, that's gonna be my future wife or something like that. Whenever I came out, like memory hit me like a train. I was just like, oh, that was me. those dreams were me, but like as a woman, like subconsciously my brain had already was like looking at all that, because like I remember like the first time I walked past myself and like I saw the reflection in the glass and I was just like, oh, and I just like, the memory hitting me at the same time and just like, oh, that was okay, wow. There's a lot to unpack there. So it's just having those like I don't know, the first time like it happened, I about cried because I felt like I finally got to that point. And it's not like, sure, I don't pass to like everybody else, but like I don't care. I care that I pass to myself. And
do you see who you are to yourself?
That's kind of the more important thing. I know quite a few of the people who are probably watching this video are going to be like, yeah, but Kat, and then it's fine. There are various ways to be a woman, and there are variations of how women look that regardless of where you end up in your transition, you're going to be a woman. And it's the same thing with being a man. Like there's various ways to be men. There are variations to men. Where you end up with testosterone or estrogen, that's who you are. And that's when you finally recognize yourself to be the gender that you would want to be, you've made it. I would say you are finally passing, because you pass to the person that matters the most. I wish I could stick my finger in their chest right now and be like, it's you. It's you. Oh God, I remembered.
Oh no.
For you. How?
Not mid-2000s representation of body swap. Oh no, not this.
Seeing a Fred and Daphne's body. I would like to change bodies with a girl.
I feel like this is pretty universal when it comes to trans people, though.
Oh my God, I remember that scene. I was just like, God, that'd be so nice if I could just switch bodies and like be in a woman's body, because like not much would change, but I would be happier.
Yeah. Nope. Thought completed. Thought completed. Mid 2000s body swap.
Yep, thought completed. I think that honestly,
like cliche. Yeah.
even not like just body swap. Even like sometimes you had those episodes of like gender swapping because like I.
Or it's just like, oh, that checks a box. Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, I'll file that away for later. Personal development.
I forgot. I just saved this one too.
This one's great. I love my chosen name, but you know what I don't love? When you can't even say my name.
Solid Snake.
Snake.
No, okay, I feel this. I feel this just a little bit because like, oh my God, people cannot actually pronounce my preferred. Grouchh knows, by the way. Grouchh knows my preferred first name.
Yeah, I'm a knower.
Yeah, she's a knower. It's funny, just like listening to people just try to say my name and they come out with other things instead. Because like I have like a list of all the names that I have been called that are not my actual first name.
You're like the actual meme of like people trying to read a name and they just throw in a bajillion extra letters that don't like clearly aren't there, but they're struggling so badly to pronounce it they're just throwing in syllables. No, I do occasionally get the same thing with mine, only because the emphasis on some of the vowels, it can be pronounced two different ways. And people are like, which one is it? And I look at them like straight in the eye and I'm like, whichever. It just makes me happy you're using the name. Because a lot of people like default to the other shortening of my name, which is just the same like nickname that I used under my dead name, which I did like honestly in a fairly self-serving, like I don't want to change my initials on things that I only have my initials on. And also like I never minded the shortening. It was the whole name that always bothered me. But since then, and this is a food for thought for those of you who are still picking your name, there is an element of people in my life who they don't use my dead name, but they do use the shortening, even though my preferred is the more like feminine sounding shortening. And I've told them that and they ignore that. It's the same brand. Like, you know, like same statement, different font. Like you're still just basically dead naming me. The intent is there.
I feel that. One of my grandmothers was like, can we like call her dead nickname? And my mom's like, no, she doesn't. You didn't want to call her that before. Why call her that now? Ugh.
I've never understood that logic anyway. I'm like, if it was such a big deal before, if you're going to compromise now, you might as well compromise all the way, right?
Yeah, like my compromise was Cat. I understand my preferred first name is a little difficult to say for some people, especially when you look at the name, but like Cat was like the compromise. So like you can call me Cat because it's an acronym for basically my first name and my two middle names. Not that hard.
That's a clue, chat. Write that down.
And no, they already know this. Somebody in Reddit was just like, so far what we know about Kat is her name starts with a K, her middle name is Aisling, and her other middle name is Tara because of characters that she's played a lot in like video games, and that was default name that she always chose. And I was just like, wow, someone's actually been taking notes and paying attention.
Oh my gosh. The lore specialists are out in force today.
I see you. I read your comment, and I gotta say, I'm applause. I'm applauding.
Oh, I love that.
I can't believe I actually have people who are paying attention to the things that I say. Oh, this one's funny. Hey, did you hear that River?
Is this Animal Crossing?
It is Animal Crossing. Hey, did you hear that River made a birthday wish for I wish I was a man? Throwback to 4 years ago when Rooney added my younger sibling to me.
Wait, no way. Oh no.
Wait, Rooney's transphobic. Jesus Christ. I will never let Rooney onto my island if I ever play Animal Crossing ever again.
That's one way to find out.
That is one hell of a way to find out.
That is, wow.
Like, what's the conversation about that afterwards? Coming up to your sibling and just being like, hey, buddy, so happy birthday. Did you wish to be a guy?
I don't know. I don't know if there is a conversation.
Is that when you blew out the candle? Is that the thing that you wished for? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's okay.
Yeah. No, like part of me is like, a conversation should be had, but a part of me is also like, do you even say anything? Like they didn't tell you.
Yeah. Is this a point like when they come out to you and you're just like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's like a
villager outed you to me.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, no, 10 years ago, and I've always known, and I want you to know that like I've never felt differently, right? Because that's the only correct response. But I like, for me, me, I think if that had happened, it would very much be like, I think I'm going to keep this to myself and let them tell me in their own time.
And then a year later, be like, oh yeah, by the way, I knew.
Yeah. By the way, I knew all along.
Oh, by the way,
Rooney's a snitch. You should not
Yeah.
record your secrets, your deepest, darkest secrets into a video game because they will be used against you.
You should kick him off your island.
The end. Oh, you look angelic, love. I can't get no one to call me ma'am. And my feet just doesn't listen. You don't stop teaching me stuff. Turns out I got feelings and all. This one, I've been like, because we took a break, but I've been thinking about this one. This is so real.
Yeah, I think before transitioning, and I'm gonna say after elementary, because like elementary was like when I would cry the most, and then I got bullied for it all throughout middle school, and I became a emotional husk of a person, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I think the only times that I cried during like uni and during my graduate and after all that, I think I only cried once. And that was after I watched Rent.
Ooh.
And then I didn't really cry again until after I started taking HRT. And like even then, like I felt other emotions. Like I felt anger sometimes, mostly anger at certain body parts, and wanting to rip them off and throw them off into the abyss. But you know, there were other times like I didn't really feel much like a person in comparison to like now after being on HRT for 3 years. And like I literally like, just the other night while doom scrolling, waiting for I was by myself because my wife was out. I was doom scrolling and I came across like a video about a cat, and I was crying because of how cute it was, and like how much it reminded me of my cat Tosh. And I was just like, ugh! They were not pretty tears, but you know what? I'm kind of happy with that I'm able to like now shed those tears and have those emotions and feel more like a person than I did before.
Yeah. No, I feel that so much. There was a long period where I felt, like you said, like a husk, hollow. Like I just didn't respond to things in the way that I maybe felt I should or expected myself to. Like, oh man, this is gonna make me cry. And then it didn't. It was just like, or, you know, even other emotions like anger or excitement, I feel them differently now than I did. And they feel real and whole. And that's not to say like, because there's again, like I keep coming back to this, there's like two kind of parts to it, right? Because like part of it is internal, right? That I'm just like with my brain on testosterone, like the primary emotion was anger all the time, and nothing else really had like room or space. And when I started HRT, like everything just like, it sounds silly, but everything went quiet. Like I did have more space to sort out my emotions. But I think there's also like a comment to be said about the way that I was treated like growing up as a boy, right? Like being raised as a boy. And this kind of like, this coincides with the thing that we talked about on stream a couple weeks ago, like, and this video will come out after June is over, but June is also Men's Mental Awareness Month. And I'm okay sharing that with Pride Month, because when I was being raised sort of as a boy, like growing up, my mental health was not of value to anyone. And that's systemic, and that's a problem.
But it's kind of just like, you understand that anybody who's celebrating Pride is also wanting men's mental health. Like we want men to feel comfortable in their sexuality and in the way that they present themselves, and being able to be like vulnerable and talk about the things that they don't feel they can share all the time. You think this is a gotcha, but it just really shows your own bigotry, how heinous you are, and like how little you actually care for men in comparison to the LGBTQ IA plus community. Nobody in this community would ever advocate for men to not be able to get mental health care, or to be able to seek therapy, or be able to get parental time off because their spouse just had a kid. Other countries outside the US allow for the father to have time away to spend with their baby that their spouse just had, just as much as like their spouse is able to get time off, and significantly more time off than the United States, might I add, to allow for them to be with their kid. So that way they can be there for the most important time of that child's life, which is extremely early on. But like none of that gets discussed. And this is not to like be contrarian to your point. Your point is completely accurate and 100% true. I'm just kind of like pointing out the fact that like the people who say Happy Men's Mental Health Month are contradictory to themselves.
No, absolutely. Like I'm on 100% on board with what you're saying. It's not the gotcha you think it is, because the LGBTQ community is comprised of men and women and non-binary persons and all the other different expressions, but that includes men. For example, if like trans women, like many of us have an experience being treated as men, right? So I share that experience. It's not, I'm not a man. I don't identify as a man. I've never felt that I was a man, but I was treated like one. And I hate how men are treated, especially in our moment in history and our moment in this like culture, because you're not allowed to have emotions. You're not allowed to show weakness or to feel in some ways. I don't want it to get conflated with other issues, right? That comes with toxic masculinity. But when it comes to the purest essence of the idea, yeah, absolutely. I want that. I want that for my brothers. I want that for my father. I want that if I have children, I want that for my sons. I want their well-being. I want their ability to feel. I want their mental health to be of value as well. The same way that I want mine, the same way that I want my identity and my health and my mental health. And we should, all of us, want to advocate and celebrate the wholeness of each other. And that's what Pride is about. That's what mental health awareness, regardless of what gender identity it's for. That's what that's about. So yeah, like just to reiterate what you said, it's not the gotcha you think it is. Like, we will gladly share because we will gladly stand with you.
We assure you, the stripes are absolutely necessary to our operation as a delivery service. Yeah, I really want to make the joke of like, yes, adding those stripes gives us a biological advantage to be able to deliver things much faster than you would expect. Jesus Christ.
Listen, if you thought RGB made things go faster, let me tell you what. Yeah, it's, I don't know, like I feel like it's a little bit commentary on like the criticism, like, oh, is you really your whole identity? Like, this is all that matters to you because you have like the pride colors on something. Like, no, it's part of it, definitely. And also I like the colors, but I'm not the one that's, I don't know, maybe I'm off base with this one, but I'm like over here, like feeling like, like the people who like want to take that one thing and make it a huge deal. I'm like, no, it's just like a little piece of the picture. It's there because it's true.
It's just it's a nice little thing.
Like, those colors are for me. Those colors are for, somebody who maybe needs the encouragement to see they're there, that other people either, that there's an ally or that there's someone with a shared experience, that they're safe, that they're welcome. But also like, it's just a fun bit of flair. Like, it's the same as having like your favorite sports team's logo on like a dozen hats and towels and shirts, right? Like, it's not your whole identity. I mean, I've met people that like their sports team was their whole identity. That's a separate problem.
I'm looking at my dad.
But it's like, it's not that serious, man. It's something we identify with, that we put on our clothes and our bags and our possessions. And it's fun. It's a little statement about part of who I am. It's not the whole thing.
No, I agree. Like, it allows for other people who may or may not identify to feel comfortable and to know that they are not alone and that they are not the only one, and that they, there are others out there like them who are also like, who are doing things and are, living their day-to-day life. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's the exact same reason that Steelers fans wear Steelers merch outside of Pittsburgh, so that they know that they're not alone when they see each other. No, sorry, I've known a lot of Steelers fans.
EA Sports Ball Steelers, like the hockey team, right? They shoot the basketball from the home plate. That's the sport, right?
Yes, that's a touchdown when they shoot the basket from the home plate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lowest score wins. Messed up sports references. Can we get into this analogy? Oh no.
I saw these earlier. I've seen these all on TikTok and these have been amazing.
These are great.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even know how to say mint.
Yeah, mint.
Mint? Womanint? No. Hell no. Absolutely not. I don't care. Panic. And then the old switcheroo.
All right. Which ones are you? I am mint and the old switcheroo.
I'm of course I'm the old switcheroo. Like, but so for the longest time I thought I was no, and then I was like mint, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit of panic. Some days I'm a little bit of panic, but I should have sent you this meme so you could have reacted to it. But it makes me think of another one that I sent to another friend. I thought I sent it to you, but maybe I didn't. And I think it was a reel. I think that's why I don't think it's a meme. But it's just like, in practice, no. But in theory, maybe.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like, okay. I've said this about like my sexuality, where it's like masculinity on paper sounds great, sounds amazing, sounds fantastic.
Sure.
In practice, yeah. I'm not a huge fan. That's okay. Like that's just me. Other people enjoy it, and I'm happy that they do. Like, good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I read a lot, and like I also read like some romantasy, and a lot of that, not all of it, but a lot of it is like very straight coded, and or just straight, and it's like, that's fine. I'm happy to consume that. I like it when there's representation, and I seek those out. But like, I get it. Like, the majority is gonna be for the majority, right? It doesn't stop me from enjoying it. And occasionally I'm like,
yeah,
no, I'm okay with that. I like that. You know, I'm just like, if that's how it was, I'd be like, I'd be okay with that. But then in practice, it's always like, we're never getting to that.
I feel like that's how aces are though, right? Maybe my ace community can like identify like, yeah, that's so real. Like and on paper, wow, that sounds amazing. In practice, no, hell no, absolutely not.
Yeah. The theoretical physicists versus the mathematical physicists are over here like, you might be onto something here.
Wait a minute.
This sounds great, but have you tried it?
The math says otherwise. Me explaining to family and friends that clothes are not gendered and anyone can wear whatever they like. Me, after they ask me why I never go to the men's section, then clothing is not gendered. However, if you are feeling most euphoric in a stereotypical gendered clothing, that's fine. Listen, some people are not going to feel comfortable in whatever their previous like fits were. Who cares? I feel like I'm gonna beat this one like this. Like, I've already been beating this dead horse of like, clothing is not gendered and people can wear whatever they want. And if you don't want to wear the opposite gender's clothing, like quote unquote gender clothing, then you don't have to. Wherever what would make you feel comfortable. That's when it should matter.
I want to split this hair. Can I split a hair? There's a difference between a style and a tailoring, right? Like, the item of clothing is for anyone. But like, I have boobs, so I'm gonna need clothing that's tailored to accommodate that. Anyone can wear a dress, so just wear it and enjoy it. They look good on everyone. Like, there's no but if for that one. They always look great. If you like them, wear them, and if you don't like them, don't. And that's totally, like, I know plenty of women who are like, no, I can't stand dresses, and plenty that are like, yeah, pants are uncomfortable. And I know I've seen, there's a new trend with celebrities that like wear dresses now or skirts. And I'm like, I love that because it's such a cool element of self-expression, right? Like, Doctor Who wore a skirt in like a bunch of episodes this last season, and it was great because it's quirky and it goes with the character and it fits so well, and it just adds like another element of just like uniqueness to that particular actor's portrayal of the character. And I was like, that's so cool. I really liked that because at the end of the day, clothes are for everybody. Clothes are to stop you being naked out in society. That's it. Like, wear the clothes that make you look good and enjoy them. My body's always felt wrong and I don't know why. I don't know what to do. I just need a sign.
You are trans. Yes, you.
That's some very specific graffiti. Ooh.
Faye has been coming out with like some really good comics that are just mostly like kind of posts sometimes, and I absolutely love these. But at the same time, like, oh my god, yeah, sometimes I just needed somebody to be like, fam, you're trans. You want to be a woman. Those feelings that you've been having, you're trans. Like, come on. Do I need to slap you across the face a couple times and get it through your head that you are trans?
Yeah, girl, you're a woman. You're uncomfortable because you're trying to squeeze into a shape that you're not, and that's fine. Nobody should have to feel comfortable squeezing into a shape that they're not. End of story.
I just thought of the meme of, that's right, it goes in the square hole. Wait, that might be able to explain dysphoria to people. It's just like, you know, when you first watched that video, how uncomfortable you felt when they put the circle in the square hole? Yeah, that's dysphoria.
Yeah, that's what it's like to be trans. Well, not for everyone, but like that's what it's like to have gender dysphoria.
Oh my God. Not for everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that video gets so painful every time. Oh,
It's so good. I love it. I love every single time it pops up, but it's so real at the same time.
double check your input validations.
Here's the blow high I got from my birthday. Blow high is really popular in the trans community. Are you trans? No, she said, lying like a liar. Oh, no, I've been here before. I've, like, the number of times that I would tell somebody, I was like, yeah, I like wearing women's clothing. Like, it's comfy, it's nice, it's comfortable. And the looks that I would get, I'd be like, only every once in a while, I swear, it's just, you know, like, I'm a guy. Yeah, totally.
The phrase "methinks thou dost protest too much" comes to mind. But there is something real to that, because there was, like, growing up, I got teased for girly traits, like, imagine. And the response, it's clearly not an attempt at affirmation, it's to mock me. And so there's an instant visceral, no, I have to deny that, because if they find out that it's what I want, then they'll use it to hurt me. More than they're using to hurt me now, rather than like to affirm. Versus when you recognize it in another person and you affirm it, you're like, then they feel safe and affirmed and able to share that. But like as a kid, no, I was like, absolutely not. I could not. And so it pushed me away from those things. It pushed me away from things I enjoyed doing and enjoyed like participating in, because I was scared that if I left too many hints that people would figure me out and they would use that to hurt me. And so you get this like ugly dichotomy where even though they're things that you should be able to enjoy because they're not gendered, they're fine for everyone, you can't, because you're scared that even a little hint will result in being found out. I don't know, that's my like immediate thought process.
No, I feel you on that, because I've talked about this before, but like the thing that my mom had always said was, like, you said that you were never a girl. You always fought against being called a girl. And I was like, yeah, because I was mocked. And like there's a difference between being mocked and being called a girl versus someone affirming being a girl. And I think if somebody had like gave me more of like the affirmation of reaffirming it, then I would have felt differently as a kid. Because like I had these thoughts whenever I was younger, and I had all these like feelings and emotions, and I really didn't like know how to express it. But after I finally came out to myself, I was just like, oh yeah, I unpacked all that stuff. I had to like sort through it, and I just knew like it was just I'm trans. I've always been trans, and it's just who I am.
I think it's important to separate mentally the difference between the visceral response to because you're responding to the negativity of it, not to the statement of it, right? You know, when somebody looks at me and is like, you're a girl, I'm like, yes, congrats, you have two eyes in your head and can identify gender presentations, good job. Versus like if somebody's like, oh, you're a girl, I'm like, well, the way you're saying it makes it sound bad. Why? Like, there's nothing wrong with this. Growing up, my dad would always use this phrase, are you tough as nails? Are you painting your nails? And I'm like, you can be both. Always my thought, like growing up. And I never dared to say this out loud, I don't think, because I wasn't that brave as a kid. Why can't you be both? You can do both. You can have both. You can be tough and also enjoy beauty. You can be a strong person. And in this world, we need to have strong people. We don't all of us have to be strong, but you need to have strong people. But those people aren't precluded from having beauty or a little bit of like, you know, self-indulgence. I think of it like I paint my nails and then I go rock climbing. I can do both. Neither is bad, and they're not mutually exclusive. So why have you made it a negative thing?
I think that's kind of just part of the whole, like, there's multiple levels to this, right? Because there's like the whole pitting masculinity versus femininity kind of like reinforces like the gender binary, and like having all that stuff specifically be against each other and at odds against each other means that you can only be one or the other. And then at the same time, time, you also have, because the gender binary also holds up stuff like patriarchy, which is then like you want to be masculine, you want to be strong, you want to be the breadwinner of your family and everything. And anything that's seen any less than that, feminine or being too sensitive, is bad. It's terrible. You can't be that. That's how you be a terrible man. And it's just like, it's draining. And it's so frustrating too, because it's just no one really is putting people up to be that other than like society and the person themselves. It's like people should just be able to be themselves. And like you said, you can be both. You can both enjoy doing physical stuff like rock climbing and building and crafting, but you can also enjoy painting your nails and enjoying getting like a mani-pedi and having quote unquote like a more feminine night. And that's also fine. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, agreed. Agree. The things that we do, the way that we dress, they don't make us what we are, right? When I say like I'm a woman, I'm not making a statement about how I dress or what I do for fun, because I just do those things because I like them. Personal hygiene is for everyone. Exercise is for everyone. Wearing clothing is for everyone. I'm sorry, like we have this as a social construct. But like, you know, when I say I'm a woman, I'm making a statement about my something on the inside. I'm not making a statement about, because I want to like make sure I point that out, because some people, I have heard the argument made like, oh well, if it's like, if there's no gender to it, then why do you need to, like this argument has been used to me, like if there's no gender to it, then why do you care? Why can't you just do that and still be? It's like, because it goes beyond that. It goes into the core of what actually makes what is actually your gender presentation versus things that are stereotypically female. It goes beyond the stereotype and into the core of something, the essence. It's not easy to really know your own shape or who you really are. The real me was a lot more rough around the edges. Oh, I am cute, but it's not the kind of cute everyone else was talking about. It's my kind of cute. That's your shape? There was a time I tried to be strong and cool, not cute at all, just for my mom and dad. But your shape, your true self, it's something you have to find.
I've heard, okay, so apparently there's now officially a Guilty Gear anime, and apparently every line that Bridget says goes hard.
Yeah, I was like, I'm learning two things right now. One is that I'm behind on my anime releases, and two, whoever's writing Bridget is not taking prisoners.
No, the person that wrote Bucket is not taking prisoners, and they are absolutely out for the trans community in a positive way.
Listen, when you represent Skit, you represent Budgie correctly. But yeah, I think I'll be repeating myself. It is like that's it. That's the whole thing. That's everything. That's the core of it.
Well, that's kind of just it. I will be constantly saying this because, and I think this is the reason why a lot of people have like flocked to my content, is the thing that I keep saying, and the thing that I will continuously keep saying, and the thing that I will never stop saying, is whenever you start questioning your gender and you start asking the hard questions and you start looking into everything and you start figuring out who you are, regardless of where you come out, whether it be trans or cis or agender or non-binary or gay, lesbian, bi, whatever it may be, you have put in that time and effort and energy, and you have taken the hardest aspects of being a person, looked them dead in the eyes, and have discovered who you are by challenging everything, by looking at everything, and by tearing it all apart to figure out who you are. And that is way more than anybody who is outside of the community could ever say about themselves. Most people don't even think twice about their gender or about their sexuality or about who they are. They just go, yep, this is me. But we, as the queer community as a whole, ask ourselves that. Some of us, we didn't need to. It was very clear at the start. But for the majority of us, we have had to face our past, look at the things that made us extremely uncomfortable, and allow for us to figure out who we are. And that's the beauty of it all, is we get to make ourselves. We get to find our true selves, our shape. And yes, it's always going to be a little rough around the edges, but that's fine. Over time, those edges will become softer and more more in line with who we are, and finally being able to discover all that stuff is what makes us us. So to all of those of you who have taken that time, or if you're on that journey now, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Everybody else within the queer community is proud of you, and everybody else here wants to support you, however that may be. And you don't need to think you're alone in this. And it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be afraid. We've all been there.
Becoming who you really are is a journey where the destination is not what's important. It's that having made the journey is what brings fulfillment, right? It's okay to look at yourself, any aspect of yourself, and ask, is this who I am? And yeah, it's hard and it's scary and it's messy, and you're not alone. Like you said, Kat, you're not alone. You belong. Whatever it is that you find at the end of the journey is okay. It is who you are, and we accept it, we celebrate it, and it's okay to be that thing. I encourage you, set out, make the journey, and discover who you are at the end. Find out where you end up. It's worth it. Absolutely.
I think this is a good one to end on, just because I always like to end on a extremely positive one where I hit people in the emotions gut and be like, ha ha, deal with the tears now.
Yeah. Gotcha. Come back here for more crying next week.
Yeah. God. I think even during my first video, someone was like, I came in for the memes and I'm out crying about my own existence. What the hell, Kat? So.
You made a meme into existential contemplative dread.
Yep.
Amazing.
Caused you all to think about yourselves just a little bit more, and to maybe just feel like it's okay, regardless of where you end up. So, all right, Grouchh, as always, it's lovely having you around. I really enjoy when we get to stream together. Would you like to say anything before the end of this video? Plug yourself, all that fun stuff.
I stopped recording, and so I had to restart it for that. Don't worry, it's fine. I've started it back up. I'm a professional.
Yep.
Do I want to say anything else?
Do you want to plug your socials? Do you want to plug yourself? Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself? You have the floor. It's all yours, girly pop.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I said at the beginning, I'll say it at the end. I'm me. I am who I am, and I'm just over here doing my thing. If you vibe with that, you can find me at Twitch. You can find me on Twitter, on Blue Sky. It's all at It's Grouchh with 2 H's. I stream a variety of games. I build Lego. We chat. We have fun. If you're on the TikTok, I have one of those. I barely post any of my own content, but I repost the most out-of-pocket stuff. So if you want to come along on the journey with me, that is where you will find me. Basically, if I'm on a platform, it's at It's Grouchh. So if you can't find it, or if it doesn't look like it's me, it's not me. And go and be yourself, and I'll see you around.
Amazing. Hey, I know this is the end of the video, and I didn't really do an intermission on this one to tell you all. This video is sponsored by you all. Thank you to all my patrons, to all my Twitch subscribers, and now thank you to all my YouTube memberships as well. You all have been absolutely amazing and fantastic. And oh my god, this video was so long. Originally, it was going to be an hour and a half, and now it's just a little over an hour. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation that Grouchh and I had, and I really hope you all enjoyed having this super long video. I don't know. Don't expect videos to be this long again, at least not anytime soon. Oh my god, next one's gonna definitely be somewhere around the 30 to 40 minute long range. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for getting to the end, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Cat is a cutie, right? No, this is slander. Renetta, did you put did you, wait, I just had Penny's tail in my mouth. Whoops. Anyways, oh god! Cat, not on Twitch, clip it! I'm not sinking down in my chair for no reasons. No, you can't prove anything.